like we've got a lot of extreme thinkers in this beautiful cinema. Anyone into extreme sports? Motocross, snowboarding, skiing? Anyone ever hear of Simon Dumont? Yeah. Well, my godson, Riley Poor, was a videographer. Hella skiing, taking videos. Actually, he was doing a documentary on Simon Dumont. And then he got offered his dream job at Nike. At that time, Simon was competing in the X Games at Mount Snow. Mount Snow is where my husband and I decided to start an architectural practice in a no-stoplight town. But we met the Poor family. So that night, Simon won the X Games. Can you imagine the party? We're at Riley's home mountain where he learned to ski when he was 3. Simon won the X Game, his new job at Nike, and it was a huge celebration. Then it happened. There was an accident in the pool. To this day, no one will say exactly what happened. The outcome? My rising star godson became quadriplegic 4 days before his 26th birthday. For 2 weeks, my husband and I had no idea what to do. We were attending to Riley and his family, and all we could do basically was show up. Didn't know what to do. Fast forward, Riley went to rehab. Riley actually moved to Portland, Oregon because Nike honored their job offer with adaptive equipment. He was doing his job. But in Portland, Oregon, he was in a temporary hotel room, accessible hotel room, like most people when they go to a new job. You know, they get their little relocation. But he could not find, and looking all throughout Portland, Oregon, he could not find an accessible apartment where a caregiver could help him in the shower. Therefore, he was in this hotel room for 8 months. Can you imagine your new life using a wheelchair, that reality, at 26 years old? The Nike van would pick him up, take him to work. He's navigating his new reality in a wheelchair. He comes home. He's friggin' exhausted. There's no way he can go out to dinner or drinks with family or friends. He's isolated. They can't come there to him in the hotel room. It's awful. So I'm going to lose my train of thought here because sometimes I get emotional telling the story so much later. So again, we didn't know what to do. We would simply show up and be there for Riley. 2 years later, Riley calls us up, his godparents with an architectural firm. Hey, I bought a house. Will you make it universally accessible for me? Finally, we knew what to do. It was by showing up in all these teeny ways that we didn't know what else to do that eventually we could figure out what it was we could do. And while our architectural firm was making Riley's house accessible, I have a husband who's one of those creatives. I make things happen, but he's the creative. And he makes the impossible possible. He said, Riley, what if there was an accessible bedroom and bathroom that we could have attached to your parents' house? And then you could have been with family while you were figuring out your long-term solution. Wow, we were all sparking. And then Riley, Joseph, and I showed up, and we created a new company, WheelPad. WheelPad is a 200-square-foot accessible bedroom and bathroom that can be attached to an existing home within a week. So not only does it give privacy to the person with mobility issues, but because there's a ramp, you know, it's attached through a back door or a window, and then there's a ramp the other side, so caregivers can come in and out without disrupting the rest of the family. We were on a roll. Then we found out, have you any idea how many people are languishing in nursing homes and facilities simply because they do not have accessible housing? Vets First of the United Spinal Cord Association says there are 4.3 million vets disabled. Of that, 1 million are languishing in facilities solely because their home is inaccessible. Now you add people like Riley and other people who have sports injuries or illnesses that a few years ago wouldn't be with us, but due to medical advances, they are. And on top of that, there are thousands and thousands of people that have their bedroom in the living room of a home because that is the only place that they can get to in their home. Before Riley's accident, I never even thought about these kind of things. But now, my friend Cynthia Payne-Meyer, who broke her neck in 2 places boogie boarding on her 59th birthday, is home with her family, her friends bringing her meals, giving her all kinds of treatments, her gardens, her dog, because of WheelPad. Vietnam veteran Edmund Little is home with his wife in their WheelPad attached to their craftsman-style home, service-related ALS. Julia with cerebral palsy is home. For us, I mean, being able to keep these families together is a dream come true. Riley was doing well, thriving, becoming the man he wanted to be and more, and his acupuncturist showed up. And he had really debilitating, painful tremors. Showed up, and after 9 months of amazing work, she said, "Riley, I'm sorry, but I can no longer be your physician." And Riley was, "Oh my God. Well, can I ask why?" And she says, "Because I've fallen in love with you." Today, Riley is 35 years old, living with the beautiful Andrea, his acupuncturist, getting promotion after promotion at Nike, literally living the life of Riley. We at WheelPad, we go to work with a smile, knowing we can keep families together. So we hope that our story, there are so many ways to show up, from minuscule words said at the right time to big, humongous ideas, that we only can figure out these ideas we're spreading if we show up to be there and see that potential. And we hope that our journey inspires you to use your gifts, big or small, for the healing of us all. Thank you.